Hey PMC fans, what is up? I am the Rockin Aerodactyl, or Noah JTRA, however you guys prefer, and I'm here with Sharpino, who is going to be the coach of the Sydney Krookodiles. Welcome aboard, mate.
Thank you very much. Day people, this is Sharpino, the coach of the Sydney Krookodiles. Thank you for this interview, Noah.
Happy to be here, and my pleasure. I like to say I'm part Australian, but I'm only part British. But I love Australia. Big fan, big fan. So, first off, welcome to Season 2 for the PMC. Welcome. Let's begin with what I like to call the beginning. How did you find the PMC? How did you find us?
Well, back in Season 1, for those who don't know, basically Jay Specs, who's the ringleader of the PMC, he actually called me out and said, look, we're looking for some trainers, and basically I said, yep, I'll put my name in the hat. Now, even though I'm not exactly a battler, I'm more of a Let's Player. Like, I have a YouTube channel, I do lots of Let's Plays with lots of random rules. Basically, I just started to go ahead and do this league and actually found I had a niche for it once I actually put my mind to it. So that's how I found the PMC.
Awesome. Now, what are your thoughts on the PMC?
Well, after being through Season 1, I ended up being 5-5, which, I mean, is a nice neutral result, obviously being a lot better than negative, but after my first experience, I would definitely say it was a very educational experience, just because not only did I get to learn a lot about myself and my battling skills, but also the battling skills of all the other trainers that were in Season 1. Now, I know a lot of them, or some of them may not be returning in Season 2, but a lot of the competitors in Season 2 are also in the same line as Season 1, so it gives me intel as to what their battling style is like, and it helps me try to adjust my strategies to kind of hopefully get a leg up on the competition.
So, would you say you got a lot of experience through Season 1?
I would definitely would say I did, because I'm not really much of a battler, and just looking at a lot of people battling and looking at a lot of all the other high-end YouTubers that battle, it gives me a lot of ways to work with Pokemon, even though I may not necessarily have worked with them primarily. Watching other people work with it and getting ideas to work with it for myself definitely helps me to become a better Pokemon battler. And like I said, through my experiences through Season 1, I definitely would say I've learned quite a bit about Pokemon and the trainers as well.
Alrighty, nice. So what are your thoughts on the league format?
The point tier system actually isn't too bad. I've seen a lot of different tiering systems. You've got obviously Smogon tiering, and you have your point tiering system. Personally, I actually prefer the Smogon tiering, but I mean the point tiering system isn't bad either. It just means that you'll have a lot of high-end Pokemon in UU and OU mixed in the tier 1 section, and so on, and so on and so forth. So personally, like I said, I do like the Smogon tiering, but I wouldn't disagree entirely with the point tiering system for the PMC. Hello? Hello? Dude?
Oh, sorry, my mic mic was on mute. That's my bad. I apologize.
Oh, yep, all good.
Sorry. What's the last thing you heard?
I was just talking about how I said I prefer the Smogon tiering system, but I don't disagree completely with the PMC tiering system with the points tiering.
Alright, sorry about that. Again, first time that's happened, but really quickly, so do you think the point system in general adds a more beneficial experience and more enjoyable experience for the whole league style battles? You're building the teams?
Just trying to think of, because I mean, it's not really something I've really considered. I mean, I think it definitely adds a new look into the battling style, because a lot of people, they watch a lot of battling leagues on YouTube and they look at it but just do the Smogon tiering, and you'll see a handful of groups actually pick the point tiering system. And like I said, the point tiering system just mixes a lot of the Pokemon that normally you would expect in say UU and maybe even RU, and they get pushed up to tier 1, so it kind of puts in line all the powerhouses and all like I would say the more powerful Pokemon. But I don't know if I could say if it's going to be an enriching experience, but it's definitely an interesting experience to say the least.
Alrighty. So was PMC Season 1 your first time gaining experience with a league-style format?
Yes, it was. It was my first league I entered, as I numerously said during my battle videos, and like I said, it was nothing but a blast to be a part of Season 1, just so I could be here for, I would say, the first season of the PMC, and then for myself to be a first-time league battler as well.
Alrighty. So you definitely had a lot of battles. I mean, you went 5-5. That's a great record. Awesome. Again, congrats, especially for a first time. That's impressive. But what do you think was your biggest strength in those battles? Like, was there a specific strength you tried to maximize, utilize?
Well, fun enough, I think the biggest strength I try to utilize is, fun enough, my Pokemon. Like, I'll just quickly run through it. Like, through Season 1, one Pokemon that was on my team was Krookodiles. Now, at first, I really didn't know how to utilize it because I didn't understand, what good movesets I could use with it, combined with a good item or what have you. And then later on towards the season, I actually managed to use it pretty well coming toward the end of the season. So I guess through my inexperience and then eventually through talking to other people in the PMC and then learning about different play styles to run with Pokemon, I would say my strength is definitely just learning and adapting to different builds and for Pokemon. So obviously it comes down to your Pokemon versus the other Pokemon's team. So you basically just have to come down to information of the Pokemon and utilize the different strategies that you can run Pokemon with.
Alrighty. So I did like how you talked about, how you didn't know how to use Krookodiles at first, but then, through experience, you learned how to use it. Definitely enjoyed that. Do you think there was a weakness what do you think is your biggest weakness in League style format?
It's actually good. It's a good question. Like, I mean, I would say at first my weakness was my inexperience. But then I think throughout the league, I think my biggest weakness was probably adjusting my strategy through the midst of the game. So obviously, as you guys all know, during league battles, things can happen that are unexpected, like critical hits and hacks and what have you. And sometimes I'm not really quick on my feet when it comes to trying to learn or trying to replan and try to attack from a falling situation. So I know I can get very stressed out very quickly. So if a situation turns on me, sometimes I can react in the worst of ways. So I guess my biggest weakness would be if something unexpected were to happen, how to readjust and replan to have a comeback. So that would probably be my biggest weakness.
Alrighty, yeah, memories are flooding me of being hacked out. I'm sorry?
Yeah, because I remember, I'll just give you an example. One particular battle back in Season 1, I actually lost the game on a icicle crash flinch. And that just me. I was just like, are you serious? And it's just like, I managed to replan everything to come back, but then that one flinch ended the game. And I mean, it sucks, but it's part of the game. And I mean, if you can't accept the game, you shouldn't play if you're going to get all ragey about it. Like, probably because, like I said, of my inexperience, I didn't know how to deal with, kind of hacks, losses and everything else. But you come to understand that it's part of the game and it does happen from time to time. So you can't be too, angry about it. But then if it works for you, you're like, oh my God, this is so amazing,
Yeah.
So
definitely
take the good with the bad.
Yeah, I definitely know where you're coming from. So the draft is coming up. And do you have a plan for the draft? Any Pokemon or strategy you really want to utilize or use?
Well, I franchised Talonflame, so that's already one Pokemon in my pocket that is a very good start to the league in any format, because Talonflame, just having the priority Brave Bird and having a lot of different defensive build, it impacts quite a threat. So I guess to start things off, obviously, because I franchise the Pokemon, I lose my first turn choice. But with that, I hope that when it comes to my turn in the second round, that I could possibly grab some Pokemon that can kind of assist Talonflame in a way and try to develop a strategy either around Talonflame or actually rebuild a strategy to not only just build around Talonflame, but to build around other Pokemon as well. But of course, it comes down to what's available when it comes to my turn. So I can only say when the time comes how I will plan to attack the draft.
Alrighty, yeah, that's been a very common response from people. You know, it depends on the moment, because for those of you that don't know at home, so how draft style works is you're basically put it on a list, and then you wait your turn to be able to pick them on, and then you have to wait again to be able to pick them on from a specific tier. And that's just a very brief, very simple rundown, but yeah, so that's what he was referring to when you're saying, like, you know, you gotta wait what's available at the moment. But, you know, usually there are usable Pokemon, and I love to see how people, you know, come up with teams, especially if it wasn't they had in mind. So the fact that you're just saying, you know what, I'll just see what I have, definitely makes it more easier for you, because you're more open-minded, which I do like. So, do you think, I'm sorry, in your opinion, what is the most overrated Pokemon in this format?
The most overrated. Well, I would like to say probably, I think Talonflame could be classed as overrated. I mean, look, even though it has a lot of outs, and I'm not saying that Talonflame is indestructible, but you know, a lot of people give it a little bit too much face because of the fact that it's priority Brave Bird. I mean, like any good Pokemon, I mean, if you can have a certain Pokemon in your team that could possibly combat it. I mean, even I reckon Hooper Unbound might be classed as a very overrated Pokemon. And I say that because obviously both Talonflame and Hooper Unbound both have quad weaknesses of their own. So I mean, not saying that that is the reason why they are weak, it's just because it just gives you a reason or a way to get rid of it. So, you know, with Talonflame, all you need is a decent rock user and then you're good to go. And then with Hooper Unbound, you basically need a good, you know, dark type and you're good to go. So, I mean, it just goes without saying that, you know, some Pokemon can be overrated, like those kinds of Pokemon, but there's always going to be one chink in the armor of, you know, such power, you know. So there's always going to be a weak spot in every Pokemon, and I guess that's what makes Pokemon good, is the fact that Pokemon can be utilized so well, but it also has a weakness at the same time.
Yeah, agreed. You know, Pokemon. The thing about Pokemon is, like, you know, a lot of Pokemon is they can be so versatile, and I like how you mentioned that. So you just talked about how you think, you know, you listed some overrated Pokemon. What about underrated Pokemon? Are there any Pokemon you think that are underutilized or underappreciated?
I would definitely say I think Jellicent is probably an underrated Pokemon, just because while it is used defensively, a lot of people probably don't give it a second chance because of its weaknesses. So it's obviously weak to Ghost, it's weak to Electric. I would definitely say that the reason why I think that people underestimate Jellicent is just because of its, like, it's a slow Pokemon and it's got very good physical defensive capabilities, but that other than that, that's the only thing it's got going for it. But last season I actually managed to draft it, and I actually managed to use it pretty well, except for one match when I accidentally let it die for nothing. Actually, twice. But, you know, like, I just think there's a lot of Pokemon that, you know, because of people looking at its usage and everything else, they may degrade it because of, you know, its usage. And it's like, oh, well, this one uses this Pokemon, it's not good. Well, I mean, all it takes is one person with a very intuitive mind, and they can utilize it with a good moveset and a good team to kind of make it shine. So, again, it comes down to how a person builds their team to either make it the star or make it to support another Pokemon. So, I would say definitely Jellicent rocks up there. I'm just trying to think of another Pokemon that falls under the same category, but I really can't think of anything else for the time being, so I'll just stick with Jellicent for now.
No, I completely agree. Jellicent's a great mon. I mean, just thinking of it, it has access to Water Spout, which is a monstrous water type attack, especially in single format. But it's also, like you said, it has very good, you know, very decent bulk. Especially, I think Cursed Body's great on it. I mean, that's just me, but I love Cursed Body on Jellicent, especially if you have access to, like, Will-O-Wisp and Recover and want to stall, or you want to, again, I come from a VGC background, so I don't know much of what it does in singles, but I completely agree. Even in VGC 2015, Jellicent was completely underused, and it's such a great mon. So this is your...
Well,
I'm sorry?
Well, so I was going to say, like, most of the time, Jellicent gets used with Water Absorb just so it can be able to handle the water weakness. So if someone's got water weakness on their team, they'll use the Water Absorb. And if you're running Cursed Body instead of Water Absorb, you can kind of take advantage of that knowledge beforehand. It's like, you know, it's like Bronzong with Levitate and Heat Proof. So,
Yeah.
You know, people will be afraid to Earthquake a Bronzong on the off chance it's Levitate, but then they'll keep going with a Fire move. And once it realizes it's not doing as much damage, like shit, it's heat proof, and it's like, all right, I'll go for the earthquake now, whatever. So you can use the fact that common knowledge would dictate, or the common choice abilities would be like water absorb, and then use curse body and just like completely throw them around. It's like, oh my god, it's not water, you know?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Mentality is definitely a really big part of Pokemon. You know, like, are they running this? Are they not? So yeah, I definitely completely agree. So this is your second season, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yes.
All right. Do you have any expectations for yourself coming into season 2?
Well, for one, I hope to walk out with a positive result than a neutral result. I mean, I'm not going to say no to a neutral, but obviously it's better to walk out with a positive result. And I think for myself, I just hope to be able to plan a little bit better than I did in the first season. I mean, a lot of the times I played against certain people and I probably didn't plan the best because I wasn't taking into account the whole team instead of just like its major threats. And I learnt that earlier on in season 1, is that you don't just plan for the heavy hitters, you got to plan for a generic team as well. So, you know, it's not just about the tier 1 Pokemon, it's about the 2, 3s, 4s and 5s that could sneak up and behind you and kind of take you by surprise, which again is something I learnt earlier on in season 1.
Alrighty, and again, season 1, you gain a lot of experience, which is another great part about league formats. You can get a lot of experience through a lot of different play styles. Speaking of play styles, do you have any inspiration when it comes to your battling style? Anybody look up to? Or?
I do follow A-Drive when it comes to like Wi-Fi battling and all that. Like, he's always been someone I've watched in both the UCL and the GBA and everything else. Now, a lot of people may have cast doubt on him because of his recent performance in the GBA, but personally, I think he's been a terrific battler overall. Like, I mean, he's been a finalist in both the GBA and the UCL in the last year. So I mean, that's definitely an accolade in itself, to even be put as a finalist. But it just comes to some last minute, misplays, what have you, that kind of cost him the game. But you know what? It doesn't change the fact that, just watching him and learning how he discusses his battle strategies and explains, why he's doing certain things. I mean, sometimes you look at the screen and you're like, no, don't do that, why? And then he does it and then it turns out it works. It's just like, oh, okay, well, that's definitely another way to look at it, Yeah. So they say there's 1,000 ways to view a picture. So I guess in this case, there's 1,000 ways to attack a team given the circumstances. So, I mean, he's definitely a great inspiration. I think even PokeMD is probably a better inspiration. But, I think both of those players do utilize a lot of thought process when it comes to building a team. And it's never, after they explain something, you're not left questions about their decision-making and everything else. So, I would definitely class those two up there as battling inspirations.
Alrighty, and thank you for your time for this. It was a great interview. I loved your answers. You did great. I just have one last question. Who will be our PMC champion for Season 2?
Well, to make up for the lie I lied to you guys in Season 1 saying we would take it, to make up for it, I'm going to say that you are talking to the winner of Season 2 of the PMC.
Alrighty, sweet. Can I get an autograph beforehand just to be safe?
Yeah, absolutely, not a problem. I'll sign a promise, and if I happen to not make it to the top, I'll...
Just that red chance.
I'll eat a Bean Boozled jelly bean. I've got them bastards in my my house for my Let's Plays and all that. Trust me, I've played the Heart Gold Beanlocks. They're still here, and let me tell you, they taste like crap. There's no winning from that.
Oh no, completely agree. I don't think I've ever gotten a good one.
Well, I mean, if you guys want to check out my channel will be in the link description below. If you want to check out that crazy Let's Play and other Let's Plays that I've done on my channel. If you want to stay behind the senior Krookodiles as well for the PMC, show your support. And like I said, check out my channel down below.
Alrighty, and that will do it. Thank you for those viewers at home watching this series of me interviewing all the coaches. I really hope you guys are enjoying this. I don't know if I'll be the only interviewer actually now that we're on the topic. Really quickly, I believe J-Specs may do a few, but currently I've just done the first 7. I believe this is my 7th now. Again, guys, though, thank you for watching again. Thank you to Sharpino for coming on from all the way from Australia. Again, happy to have you on the league for Season 2, and I look forward to seeing you win, man. Looking forward to it.
No problem, no. Thank you very much for the interview. And until the next time I see you guys, stay safe, stay sharp, and I'll catch you guys all next time. Later.
Bye, guys.